Hey everyone, it's Alexa at Encircle Acupuncture in Nashville. Welcome to Acupressure Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Today we have a guest, and I'm just going to wait for her to join us here. We're going to be talking about wrist pain and carpal tunnel, which I know is something that a lot of us deal with. And we're going to be joined by Fawn Towery of Napa Acupuncture Practice in Napa, California. So we're going to give Fawn a minute to join us, and then we're going to start talking about acupressure for wrist pain and carpal tunnel. I'm really excited to cover this topic because so many of us deal with that. So it looks like Fawn is online, so we're going to add Fawn here. Give Fawn a minute to join us, and there you are. Hi, Fawn. How are you?
Good. Good morning.
So good to
Well,
see
I guess
you.
it's afternoon there. It's
It is.
only 10 o'clock here.
Just barely afternoon here in Nashville, and good morning to you in California. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone, this is Fawn Towery. She's from Napa Acupuncture Practice in Napa, California. And we are going to be doing acupressure, and you're going to show us some exercises too for the wrists and carpal tunnel. I'm so glad that we are covering this topic today because so many people deal with this. I know I do. I'm always on my laptop, we're on our devices. I'm doing acupuncture, which is repetitive strain. And then for fun, I knit, which is more repetitive strain. So I need this today. I know a lot of people
Absolutely. Absolutely. And especially like holding our phones because of the pandemic, we're on our phones so much more. And that causes pain as well. And the other thing is people who play like games on their phone too, they end up playing for hours and they don't even realize that that's contributing to hand or wrist or thumb pain kind of thing.
That's
So,
right. It's because you don't even have to be moving your hand to get those effects of that repetitive strain. It could just be from holding it. So
right. And the phones are heavier and bigger than ever before. So,
yeah, yeah. Well, good. So we're going to start out. I always start with a few just exercises to prepare us. So I will take us through those, and then we can start talking about wrist pain.
sounds
So
great.
first thing we're going to do, everyone, just take a comfortable seat and let's just slow down for a minute. And we're going to just check in with our bodies. So sit comfortably, feet on the floor, and spine nice and neutral. And just take some comfortable breaths. I'm going to close my eyes. You don't have to, but I like to close my eyes for a few breaths. If you have a breathing practice, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, just breathe. And just see how your body's feeling. Notice any areas of tension. If you're holding your muscles tight anywhere. How's your energy level? Are you hungry? Just see how you're feeling. And we're going to check back in at the end of this practice and see if anything has changed. Let's do a couple more breaths. All right. That felt good already. So now we're going to do a gathering exercise just to bring in some chi from our environment and center it in our bodies. And then we'll be directing that chi during our acupressure practice. So for gathering, you can do that standing or sitting. I'm going to do it standing. It's going to be kind of hard to see on the split screen. But I'm going to back up a little bit. So you want to stand or sit with feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. And you're going to inhale and raise your arms up overhead with your palms up, and then you're going to exhale and lower your palms. So let's do that a few times, nice, slow, and easy. Inhale. And exhale. Lower your palms down. And as you exhale, you can bring your palms to rest on your lower abdomen. Let's do that a few times. And exhale. And you want to imagine just gathering in some chi from your surroundings, some energy, and just bring that into your body. There's plenty of chi to go around, so take as much as you need. It's all good chi. We're just going to direct it. And let's do one more inhale. And exhale. Good. Now all that chi that we've brought in, we're going to now rub our hands together and direct that chi. Imagine it going out to your hands and your fingertips. And want to get your hands nice and warm. Your skin will probably start to change colors. Maybe get red, maybe get dark. All right, so I got nice tingly palms now. All that chi we gathered is now ready to be directed. Okay, so Fawn, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you talk about your approach to wrist pain and carpal tunnel.
Okay, sounds good. So this is a qigong exercise, which I think is what we started with, if people don't know that. We're fancy. So the thing about wrist, like we were talking about, is something that is happening more and more because of our use of technology. And one of the things is that tendons don't get stretched out as much as they should. So all these kind of motions are not things that we normally do in our day-to-day life. So there's an exercise, it's called prayer sign and reverse prayer sign. They're actually orthopedic tests to see whether or not you have carpal tunnel syndrome. So if you notice when you're doing these activities that you have tension or pain up here, or if you notice that the actual motions are causing discomfort for you, then that does mean you have some inflammation of the tendons in your wrist and forearm. So the most important thing about these exercises is that you don't do too many, because if you do too many, it's like over-exercising and it's going to just make it worse. So I always warn people that's the most important thing about doing these, is not to overdo it. Now, over time, you'll be able to do as many or as few as you want, but when you start out, you have to go really slowly. So here's what we do. We put our hands together like this, and then you open them, and then you put them back to back, and then you go down and around and back up. And the goal is that you come back to this direction. Okay. The goal is that when you put them, so you open it like this, the goal is that you put them completely flat against each other. Can you see that? So yeah. the fingers aren't entwined, they're just flat against each other. Oh, okay. So this way might be easier for you to see. Gotcha. So let's do that again. The way I explain this to patients is I say, read the book, back to back, down and around, and back up. And then I say, show me the book, back to back, down and around, and back up. So I don't know about you, but I think we like the number 3 in Chinese medicine. It's a tonification number. So I do them in sets of 3. So let's practice again so that, and I'll go from this direction maybe. Okay. It'll make it easier. So open the book, back to back, down and around, and back up, and then show me the book, back to back, down and around, and back up.
So I have a question. When you're back to back, are your, like, my thumbs are really kind of far apart. Are they supposed to really be touching, or? No,
the thumbs aren't supposed to be touching, just the back side of the hand and then the fingers. Gotcha. And they don't have to intertwine. They just rest against each other. Okay. And then the same the other direction. Okay. And if you can't completely touch it, that's normal in the beginning. And then as time goes on, you'll be able to do it more and more, which is cool because then you can see the progress. Yeah. And the other thing is that all this tension in here and up in your elbow should get better over time too. Mm-hmm. So my mom, I taught her to do these during the pandemic because she was having pain in her thumb and in her hands. And she says just doing these regularly is really helpful for her, and she can feel that the pain goes away. So that's another indication of, it's time to start doing these again. And you may want to do them regularly. You may just need to do them as you need to. I do them regularly just because I teach them every day to patients in the clinic. Mm-hmm. So I get that. But if I end up reading for too long on my phone, then I'll do it as well. Mm-hmm. So let's practice one more time. So read the book, back to back, down and around, and back up. And then show me the book, back to back, down and around, and back up. Read the book, back to back, down and around, like that. And then show me the book, back to back, down and around. I think we have one more to go, right? To make a perfect 3? Okay. Read the book, back to back, down and around, and then show me the book, back to back, down and around. Okay, do you feel all that nice warmth in your forearms?
I do, and it's so interesting what you said about feeling it up here, because I notice that when I knit too much, I don't feel it in my hand and my wrist. I feel it right there.
Yeah.
So that's where I get pain when I've been knitting. So yeah, this will be so you do these in sets of 3. So would you do just one set at a time?
When you're first starting out, if they're hard for you and you do have that tension, I would just do 3. Okay. And then when you can do the 3 without discomfort, then I would do a couple sets throughout the day. Okay. And now I can do, 6 or 9 at a time and not have any problems. But just like exercising, you just go slow and work your way up. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I like to tell patients that you exercise until you feel good and then you stop. Yeah. So when it starts to feel good, then you just stop. It's very anti like the American way of like bigger, stronger, harder, more weight, longer distance. Right. The Chinese perspective on it is you exercise until you feel good and then you stop. So it's this nice balance of like, trying to progress and do better versus overdoing it and causing yourself pain. I think that's a real thing that we have in the United States in terms of exercise and overdoing stuff.
Totally. And with acupressure, I'm always telling people, just listen to your body. Your body's going to tell you. And we're so used to tuning out of our bodies and ignoring our bodies. So yeah, that's a great point. Just exercise to the point where you feel good.
Feel good. Yeah, absolutely. And when I am doing acupuncture on patients, I actually needle for carpal tunnel up here. So if you bend your arm completely at the end of the wrist crease, there's a point. This one's good for clearing heat too. So if anybody has like night sweats or I know an acupuncturist in Arizona who uses this point to cool patients off every day. It saves some money on some air conditioning costs. So that's a good point for that. But this is a good point for carpal tunnel too. And then about an inch up from there. So the beauty of acupressure is you just do it wherever it's sore. You can't really do it wrong. And the worst you can do is you bruise yourself. But, obviously you're doing it too hard if you end up bruising yourself. Right. And just like you were saying, Alexa, you push until you feel the response in your body. One person described it as it should be the dominant sensation in your body. And then you know you're doing it wrong. Yeah. So, well, no, sorry. Then you know you're doing it right. When it's the dominant sensation. If it's painful, then you're not doing it right. Yeah. And then about 1 inch down is another point. Yeah. And this is still like on the large intestine channel. Yeah. You can also go a little medial, like 1 inch over from there. Yeah.
So more on the inside part.
Yep. Or on the right here is where it's really sore on me, on the opposite side of the tendon, closer to your body. And then you can go above too. And then on the inside here. So this is where the bone is, on the inside here of the bone. So anything that you feel in here that's tender is what's right. And everybody's different, right? Some people have more lateral pain. Some people have more medial pain. Some people it's more on the bone. So it's just wherever it's tender. And then don't forget to do both sides, because we like to do everything opposite sides in Chinese medicine. So like, if one hip's hurting, we use the opposite side to treat it. And elbows, I use a lot to treat hip pain, so you'll get an extra bonus with that. So like in here are good points too.
Oh
Just
my
depending
gosh,
upon.
that's so tender on me.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
It's humbling.
Yeah.
Ooh, and this point is good. The one that's an inch down from your elbow crease is also good for immunity.
Yes.
And that's something we all can benefit from.
That. And that one's super tender on me too. And like this
Yeah.
is the one side that doesn't hurt, but it's really tender.
Yeah, that point is sore. Yeah, it's interesting. And that's the other thing that I think is so fun is, I'll touch points and people are like, how do you know that's sore? And I'm like, it's what I do for a living. Which is a lot of fun. So those are exercises they're the easiest ones that I really like to get all these tendons lubricated, to get them moving and things like that. A couple of non-acupuncture things I had thought of too is you can get a bowl of warm water and pour Epsom salts in it, and you leave it so that there's some Epsom salts that are dissolved in the bottom of the bowl, so you know that there's enough Epsom salt in it, and then you just soak your hands in it. And that will help to detoxify. It gets you the magnesium, which makes you, relax your body. And you could do it at night before you go to bed. And that can help to relax the muscles too. And that's been really helpful for me. There was one time when I was in acupuncture school and I couldn't even lift a plate because I had done something wrong. And I was so humbled because just the Epsom salt was enough to make my hand pain go away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe something so simple works so well. So that's another cool thing that you can do to help yourself. And you can do it with your feet too. Sometimes I like to do that, just to feel more relaxed before I go to bed at night.
Sometimes we forget that those really simple things work really well, and we don't need to do anything super aggressive.
Right. The stuff that our great-grandparents did. I mean, there's a reason they did it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cheap. It's easy.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So if somebody, we were talking about the opposite sides. Like sometimes I find that people if they have a lot of pain on one side, they're so tender, and even just like the smallest amount of pressure is just really uncomfortable. So do you then go to the other side?
I do. And the other thing is I go to the opposite knee. So, so just like the outside of your elbow is helpful, the outside of your knee is helpful. I don't know if I can show you my knees, but I'll try. I don't know. I didn't plan on this. So that kind of works.
There you go.
So the outside of this knee right here corresponds with the lateral side of your elbow. And then the inside of your knee here corresponds with the inside of your elbow. And it's really easy because the inside treats the inside, the outside treats the outside of your elbows for when you're having the carpal tunnel, wrist, elbow pain kind of thing. And again, it's really easy. You just go with what's tender. So if it's more tender, closer inside. If it's tender, closer to the bone. Same thing with the outside. If it's closer here, there's two bones here. Sometimes between the bones is tender, or sometimes behind the bone just is tender. And all of those are really great options for people when it's too sore to put them locally on your actual elbow.
Yeah. And I love that because really you can just experiment on yourself. You don't have to know the names of the points and the channels.
Exactly. We don't have to include any of that stuff. That's for us to know. You don't have to know that. You just go where it's tender.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of the thinking is that you mirror image the body. So if you're sore in one elbow, you use the corresponding joint on the opposite side. So elbow, knee. And it gets more intricate than that, but that to me is the simplest way to do it. So like
absolutely.
If your hip is sore, you can use the shoulder. You could use the elbow too, but if you can get to the shoulder, use the shoulder. Just feel around for a tender spot. And again, your body's going to give you feedback.
Which is wonderful because it makes it so easy for people to be able to help themselves at home, which, is priceless in this time when it can be hard to get out. And and you could do it anytime. It's free.
I know.
Comfort of your home.
What's better than free self-care? It's great.
Right? Exactly.
So what do you do then, or would you recommend if somebody is having more pain, like in the thumb or in the wrist? Do you have a different approach for that?
Um, yes, it, a good question. So, the front of the shoulder here, can
Mm-hmm.
you see that on me?
Mm-hmm.
Right along here, I find tends to correspond well with the thumb. So
Oh, yeah.
if your thumb is hurting, you could do it on the same side or you can do it on the opposite side,
Mm-hmm.
and it should be tender. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is another place that you can push. And then
Mm-hmm.
just like we were talking about, hands go to feet in Chinese medicine. So the
Mm-hmm.
big toe goes with your thumb. So you
Mm-hmm.
can try doing some I'm not showing my feet on camera. You'll just have to trust me. The big toe goes with the thumb, and you can use the opposite side. It's a little harder to do, which is why I prefer this.
Yeah.
The other thing is sometimes I'll tell people on the thumb to use the opposite side
Mm-hmm.
right along here and to push gently against the edge of a table. Because if you use your
Oh.
thumb to push the opposite side, then obviously you're using the side that's having trouble. So to use a different finger or to just gently use the edge of a table.
That's a good idea. I've not thought of the edge of the table thing. So if your right thumb is sore, you press your left thumb, this
Yep,
pad, into the edge of the table. That's
exactly,
really a good
exactly.
hack.
So, but again, to me, the most important thing is that you're not causing yourself pain because people, this whole no pain, no gain, absolutely not true. And I say the same thing is true with the acupuncture needles. It doesn't have to hurt in order to work. And I really, really believe that because if it's hurting, then it's not the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, this is so interesting because I love talking to other acupuncturists because I just learn approaches that I, don't always use in the clinic. Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
so sore on me,
yeah.
so sore. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use these exercises for myself.
Yeah,
Really
isn't it great to be able to share tips and tricks? That's what I love about our community acupuncture, that
yes.
people are so generous and helpful with their knowledge and being able to get together is awesome. I have one more bonus thing. You want to hear my
Yes,
bonus idea?
please,
So,
yes.
I don't know about you, but I use hand sanitizer about 100 times a day when I'm
Yes,
working, and then
yes.
we're sanitizing all the rest of the time. So my massage therapist came up with the idea of castor oil. So you
Oh,
put some castor oil on, and it's sticky and very viscous for a few minutes, but you just use a little amount. And my hands were hurting so badly; they were cracking and bleeding along the cuticles because of so much
mhm.
hand sanitizer. And since I got this one's organic castor oil, and it's really been doing a great job. And I've told it to a bunch of patients, and they also are like, it's amazing. Because I tried coconut oil, I tried, all the expensive hand creams and Vaseline, and just nothing was working. But this castor oil has really done a great job. So
I'm
I
gonna
want
have
to
to try
pass that
that.
tip on. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
thank
never
you.
would have thought castor oil. Like,
I would not have either. And I've been trying
yeah.
everything like sleeping with the gloves
Yes, yes,
on.
yes. Sleeping with the gloves on just made them worse in my opinion. But I apply this, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a day, and it really has helped a lot. So
That is a great tip. I'm going to buy some today because I need that. Yeah, I mean, my hand and no
yeah,
amount of lotion helps. So,
no.
yeah,
And the beauty is it's not that expensive too. That's
yeah,
the other great part of it. So
yeah. Well, thank you for the bonus tip.
absolutely. It's been my pleasure. I really enjoyed being able to join you and talk about wrists and hands and all that good stuff. So thanks.
Yeah, this is great. And if there's any other topic you ever want to come on and talk about, that would be awesome.
Okay,
So,
I look forward to it.
yeah, I like to end with us just checking back in with our bodies and see if anything feels different. So, just comfortable seat again, feet on the floor, and let's just all take a few breaths together. I'm going to close my eyes. You don't have to. Whatever you want to do is fine. And let's just breathe. And just see if anything feels different. I can really feel these spots up here where I was pressing. Yeah, this is
I
great.
feel all that warmth from doing those exercises in
Yeah,
here. It
yeah,
feels tingly. It feels
yeah.
good.
Feels fabulous. All right. Well, thank you so much, Fawn, for joining us. This was
Okay.
really
I
fun.
send
Thank
my
you.
love to all of you in Nashville.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back again next week. Everybody have a great day.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye.
Bye.